But the next question is, did it hurt? Hi guys, it's Sarah. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to today's video. We are going to be going through my experience getting Botox for the first time. I'm going to be sharing why I got it, my experience, my results, and I'm going to be answering just a small handful of questions that you guys asked about it. If you weren't around for Vlogmas, I actually did vlog the appointment. It was actually a Christmas gift for my husband. We were lucky. We have a friend whose dad is a plastic surgeon, and that's who we went through for our Botox. Both my husband and I got Botox done. So I'll also share his results as well because his is definitely going to be more dramatic than mine. But just a quick disclaimer before we dive into all of it. In no way, shape, or form am I telling you that if you have wrinkles or you're showing signs of aging that you should get Botox. I think that it is absolutely a personal choice. If you want to get it, get it. If you don't want to get it, then don't get it. I think it's really awesome when people decide to take steps to fix something that they maybe don't like or take preventative measures against something that they just don't want to happen and stuff. And I also think it's really awesome when people embrace and wear their age. I think that there's absolutely nothing wrong with going either route, and everyone should be free to do whatever they want. It is your body, it is your face, it is your life, and it is 1000% your decision to make, regardless of what other people say and regardless of my reasons for getting Botox. So first off, the reason why I wanted to get Botox and just kind of the goals I had with it, because a lot of people, including the doctor who did our Botox, were saying, why are you getting it? You don't really need it. I am very, very lucky and blessed to have really good genes. My parents both look very, very young for their age. My mom is 65 and she honestly looks like she's like maybe in her late 40s, early 50s. My dad's 75, which you would never guess, and he looks like he could be possibly late 50s, probably more mid 60s, but still really, really good genes in my family. So again, I am so lucky for that. So I had actually wanted Botox for about 4 years now. I am very, very big into taking steps for anti-aging. If I'm being completely honest, aging is an insecurity that I have because I've always been told that I just look so young. So I do tend to get a little bit scared of not looking young anymore. And that is something that is just for me. I think people who wear their age are absolutely beautiful and gorgeous. I don't judge them in the least bit. If anything, I think that they're amazing. But me not wanting to age is completely something that is on me. It is not something that I project onto anyone else. And it is completely my thing. As nice as it is when people tell me like, oh my God, you look so young, you don't need to do anything like Botox or anti-aging stuff, that's very nice of them and I do appreciate the sentiment. But doing these kinds of things is something that makes me feel better. And again, it is completely my decision. I do not weigh anyone else's opinion whenever I am making these decisions for myself. So I've always been big into preventative anti-aging. I started using anti-aging skincare in my early 20s, but preventative anti-aging is something that is always at the forefront of my mind whenever it comes to my skin. Like I said, I use anti-aging products. I wear sunscreen daily. I'm constantly researching the latest findings on new products, new ingredients, and stuff like that. So Botox was something that I definitely always knew I wanted to try. It was just about like when I wanted to try, and when I started to get into my late 20s and I saw 30 looming, I was like, okay, I think it's time to like really start looking at signs of stuff, and if I see anything, I'm gonna get it. And then I started hearing about people doing Botox for preventative aging measures. So once I hit 30 a couple years ago, I was like, I absolutely want to get Botox done. I've been researching for the past 2 years to make sure that it's something that I really want to do, researching the benefits to doing it from a preventative measure and researching other things that Botox can do. So as I mentioned, we had a friend whose dad was a plastic surgeon, and Trevor and I had been in talks with them over like the last year over possibly getting Botox done, and Trevor just surprised me this Christmas and let me know that he was able to get an appointment and that it was on him. So we went. I will say I was a little bit nervous just because it is needles injected into your face. I'm not a huge fan of needles, but I also don't mind them, especially considering I have a ton of tattoos. But still, it's something that I hadn't done before. I'm injecting something into my face, and as successful as it is 99% of the time, there are like those odd circumstances where people don't react well to Botox. So I was just nervous that I would end up being like that 1% where I just got like a weird reaction, but still I definitely knew that I wanted to go through with it and try it at least once. So basically when we got into the office and finished filling out all the paperwork, he sat with each of us to ask what were the areas that we wanted to treat, and that's where he was looking at me. He's like, what is it that you need to treat? And I was like, look, I want to do this mainly for preventative measures, which he said for his client roster, that's not usually a request he gets a lot, but he was happy to do it for me. So the areas that I pointed out to him that I wanted to treat were right here in my brow. I wanted to prevent the 11 line, and I wanted to prevent lines up here, and then I also wanted to prevent crow's feet. One area though that was not preventative for me was my chin. I do have dimpling in my chin whenever it flexes. It's not like something that everyone sees constantly all the time, but it is something that like I notice when I'm making certain facial expressions. I have, and it's not a huge insecurity, but it was one of those where if we can make that less noticeable, that would be great. So those were the 3 areas for me. For my husband, they really focused on the 11 lines, the forehead lines, and then his crow's feet, and he actually already did have deep lines developing in those areas. So while my Botox was just a few cc's in those areas and most of it going here, for Trevor, they did end up using a lot more. But basically, once we were done discussing the areas that we wanted to treat, his assistant numbed us up and we sat with the numbing cream for about 10 to 15 minutes, and from there we just got the injections done. So this is my face right after getting it done. It does take a little while for Botox to come into effect, but right away I could feel that the muscles that I was trying to use weren't able to flex as much as they could. I could definitely tell that the muscles were still fighting to move, but they just like weren't as mobile as they were before. I would say I definitely started to feel it more when we got to like day 3. Just anytime I was trying to flex my chin, whether I was doing it on purpose or if I was just talking or reacting to something and I was making an expression that normally makes my chin flex, I could feel that my chin muscle just wasn't flexing as much as it used to. And by day 5, I could definitely see a difference in my chin. Again, on my forehead and on my crow's feet, I knew I wasn't gonna see a ton of change because it was preventative and we also just went in very light. So I wasn't really looking at that area, but on my chin was definitely where I could see the most. But after a full week, I could definitely notice that when I tried to furrow my brow, it wasn't furrowing as deep as it used to. So as of right now, when I'm filming this video, it's been, I think, about 2 weeks since I got Botox done. So I'll get a little closer so you guys can see. And I am in natural light. I specifically didn't put any foundation on my face. I just did a little bit of spot concealing. I left makeup very, very light so that we could actually fully see my skin. But so when I furrow my brow, I'm not moving at all in here in the middle where the 11 lines are, and I have a little bit of movement right here, and where I specifically got injected was here, here, and here. So I don't feel immobilized there, but I definitely feel a little bit of tightness. As far as the crow's feet go, I got injected right here, I believe, and I mean, honestly, it's not gonna do much. That was probably like my least problem area, but also somehow the area that I really wanted preventative measures the most, because that's the area I'm the most insecure about aging. As far as my chin goes, so here's where we're at today with my chin. So as you guys can see, it doesn't have that deep dimple anymore right here, and it also doesn't have the dimpling go down as far. I'm sorry, I can't flex and talk. So here it is again. It's just a lot smoother, and then the dimpling up here isn't as deep as it used to be as well. I still do have a little bit of dimpling, and that's because it was my very first time getting Botox. He did say on both of us he wanted to be a little bit more conservative, and then eventually when we come back, if we want to go a little bit heavier in some areas, we can definitely do that. And then as far as Trevor's Botox went, first day, pretty much automatically at like, I would say maybe a couple of hours afterwards, his was a lot more noticeable. He couldn't raise quite as high as he used to. He was still able to raise his forehead, but it wasn't quite as high. And as the days progressed into like day 3, day 5 and stuff like that, he was able to raise his forehead less and less. His forehead is definitely the spot where you can see the most progress, and today he can barely raise it at all. His forehead looks so smooth and it doesn't move. So he is very, very happy with his results, and I think that the doctor did a really, really good job on his, because they got the goal of getting him to not be able to raise as much so he wouldn't keep creating those very, very deep wrinkles. But if you didn't know that he got Botox, you would never know that he got anything done. So his still looks very, very natural for as heavy as they went on him. So overall, we are very, very happy with our results. I definitely want to go again. I just want to keep getting small doses for preventative measures, and I'm going back and forth on if I would want him to go any heavier on my chin. Like I mentioned, I can tell that the muscle is pretty paralyzed. It barely moves. It's like fighting to do even the smallest bit of movement, but there is still dimpling. So I'm back and forth on whether or not I want to get it completely smooth or if I just want to leave it where it is so that it's still pretty natural, because I don't know how my face is going to move if we paralyze the muscle even further. But we'll go ahead and dive into just a couple of questions. Quite a few of them were repeats, so this is going to be a very pared down version, just getting to the most popular questions. The first one is, why did you choose to get it now instead of later when wrinkles start? So I basically already answered this, but again, it was preventive measures because I'm just insecure about aging. It's one of those things for me that is an insecurity. Again, I don't project that onto anyone else. I think everyone is beautiful, whether they choose to naturally wear their age or not. But just for me personally, I want to look as young as I can for as long as I can. And from what I've seen, Botox is definitely one of the best non-surgical tools for that. The next question is, how many cc's did you get? I actually don't know. He didn't tell us how many cc's we each got. I'm so sorry. I wish I could tell you. I should have asked. But from what I can remember, he only used one syringe for me, and I don't think it was that full. But the next question is, did it hurt? Not really. Like I mentioned, they do numb you up. It doesn't numb you up so much that you can't feel anything at all because they are injecting so deep. They're trying to get into the muscle. You are still gonna feel a slight pinch, but on a scale of like 1 to 10 for pain on that pinch, I would say it was maybe like a 2 or a 3. It's very quick and it's pretty much like a pinprick. And then the last question is, how much was it? So again, we did go through a plastic surgeon, so it's technically gonna be more, but we went through a friend's dad, so they gave us a pretty good price. And also too, the figure that we got was for both Trevor and I don't remember the exact figure, but it was somewhere around $650. We suspect that for me, mine was probably somewhere around $200 and Trevor's was probably somewhere around $450. Alright you guys, well that's gonna be it for today's video. I hope that for those of you waiting for this video, this answered all of your questions. If it didn't, of course, please make sure to leave a comment down below and I will get to any questions you guys still have as best I can. Don't forget to also like this video and subscribe if you are new. And I love you guys. Thank you again for watching and I will see you very soon again in my next video. Bye.